Hello, I almost said spooky co-eds. This is PL McMillan for another Plim Talks. I'm here with a special guest celebrating his debut collection, Straw World and Other Echoes. I like put that I in the worst place in my armpit. I'm here with the one, the only, the man with the velvet voice, Erik McHatton. Hello.
Hello.
So we're gonna spend the next hour on this Friday partying it up. But first, let me introduce you to our wonderful guest. Erik McHatton's passion for horror literature began in grade school and can be credited to an early fascination with the terrific triples horror collections of Helen Hoke. In those books, he plumbed the depraved depths of Poe, Cass, who's CAS? I don't know. It's all
Clark
caps.
Ashton Smith.
Okay, thank you. Dunsany, Pollock, Bradbury, and more, and was forever TJ Price had in a chat too. Um, and was forever after put under the spell of those masters. He began writing fiction seriously in 2019 and has since been published several times in print and online publications such as Cosmic Horror Monthly, Visterion, Tales to Terrify, and Lovecraftiana. His story, The Man Who Collected Ligotti, was chosen to appear in the Ligotti tribute issue of Cosmic Horror Monthly and was amongst the stories included in Tenebrous Press's Brave New World Volume 3, which collected the best new weird horror of 2024. He currently lives in Kentucky with his beautiful wife and kids, along with dear friends and family surrounded on all sides. When I saw Kentucky, I had an intrusive thought that I had to hold so hard and I almost went, Kentucky. So I don't know if
That's
you saw me pause, but I was like,
acceptable.
in Kentucky, I
It's
cannot
acceptable.
be
That's fine.
I cannot be trusted sometimes. Um so welcome again. So your collection, this is your debut collection, Straw World. It came out yesterday, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so it is available to be bought, but definitely wait until the end of this event because we are doing three giveaways. You have two chances to win a book from the publisher themselves and a great big bundle from Erik, which includes not only a signed copy, but other books with his writing, as well as a book of essays about his writing, because people were huge fans before he even had his own solo out. What, I mean, can't get more cool than that.
I know. I'm awesome. Really.
Wow, Plim is very dismissive of Erik's home, going straight to social media. Accurate, accurate Kentucky accent. Well, I lived in Cincinnati for a while and I used to drive to Kentucky sometimes. We were close to each other without even knowing.
Wow.
Yeah. I used to go
Cincinnati.
to Covington.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I know
Yeah.
where that is.
It was just like across the river, so it was like whatever. Okay,
Yes.
so I'll share it. If you're not following, Erik actually does secretly have social media. So those are all the links. Plus, if you do want to order a copy at the end of this event, the link's there and it will be in the YouTube description link. And keep in mind, if you buy directly from the publisher, they'll give you a free ebook as well as a printed book if you buy the printed book option, if that makes sense. I
The
kind of
way
said
it
that
should
backwards.
be.
Yeah. So definitely support your indie presses because they publish wonderful people like Erik, honestly. Yeah, as God intended. So true. So true.
Absolutely.
All right. So I I always like I'm like it's weird that like right after the intro I do a giveaway, but it's because I like to divide it by the major events.
Hmm.
So unless I think of something extra fun to do, I this is how we're doing it. But so
Hmm.
it's the first giveaway. So everyone put eyes in chat, please. Eyes in chat, eyeballs. Let me see them eyeballs. No, TJ, we're not doing drums today. That's right, you do eyeballs. That's right. There we go. Let me see them eyes. Carson, where are your eyes? I know you're in chat. Unless you're taking a shit right now.
That's more
Thank
than
God your
likely.
mom's not here. She would have heard me say that. Ooh. All right. So let me do my little wheel. Our first winner around the wheel is Steve Patty. Is the two E's pronounced like one Y? Steve Patty. Yay, Steve! Congrats.
Congrats,
Um,
Steve.
Oh, and yes, winners, I will email you after the event and put you in contact with the person that needs to know your shipping address. But yeah, congrats, Steve. And I noticed
Awesome.
Emma Extreme Murray has joined.
Yes, she has. Hello, Emma.
Let me write down your name. Beep, beep, beep. Um, yeah, it is what the E stands for. Carson says you just got one of the weird horror collections of the year. I would agree.
One of them for
Um,
sure.
so I, it's like a weird way you could I think Carson is saying one of the best weird horror, but it definitely sounds like he's
I
just saying there might be a ton of
I
weird
don't think
horror
he is.
collections, and this is one of them.
I was willing to take it the way he wrote it.
Congrats, you won one of the books that will come out this year.
I like it better that way.
You should you should ask Undertaker Books to put that as a blurb.
One of the weird horror collections of the year.
Um, but yeah, so I've read this and I really enjoyed it. I do struggle sometimes with weird horror, and I felt like yours was like a top tier collection,
Oh
which
wow,
made
thank
it
you.
extra hard for me. And so of course the basic bitch, your cosmic horror one was my favorite. I was like, "Oh, cosmic horror. I understand that."
Which one? Uh, Jonah
The
Wexley, is it?
professor who's researching um the elder
Mhm.
god, and then the woman is like, heh heh heh. I don't want to ruin anything.
Yeah, that was the first story I sold.
Nice. Yeah, we are rabbits is really good. It's like kind of a
Yes.
cosmic horror serial killer weird tale in a
Yeah.
way.
Carson likes we must be rabbits.
Yeah. Um, Carson also likes On the Night Bus.
Yeah.
Francis says it's just guys being dudes.
Uh, Interestingly enough, Francis was around for the beginning of that story. When I first started writing it, I was in a writing group here in Lexington that I was going to every week for about a month and a half or something, 2 months. And I started writing, and I read like a little bit of it in that group, trying to figure out where I was going to go with it. So she got a front row seat for that.
Front taste. All right. Now it's time to interview Erik McHatton. Let me get scroll up here. I put some spicy ones in here. Um, I say that, but not really. So I feel like this is the first time I've done a solo interview with you, so I threw in some of my journey questions, which if you've watched enough of these parties I host, if it's the author's first time, I always ask a first couple questions. Yeah, spicy questions. Um, so what started your writing journey? Like obviously, you mentioned in your bio, grade school and reading all the classics.
Yeah, well, as far as writing is concerned, I wrote a story I mean, a terrible story somewhere in the early 2010s that I've trunked. And I wrote the first like 7 pages of Jonah Wexley Abbott, and I didn't know where I was going, which is also terrible, as it was. And then I guess I sat on it for a long time. My mom kept telling me, you got to write that story. You got to write that story. You got to write that story. And I mulled it over for a while. And finally, I think it was like 2019. I was like, fine. If I really dedicate myself to this, because I've always wanted to write, going back to when I was a kid, just never did it. And finally, I was like, okay, I'll just go ahead and start reading a bunch of short fiction, and then I'll sit down and I'll finish this story. And it took me a couple months to figure it out and actually get myself in front of a computer and write it. And that was it. I was once it got bought, I sent it to one other place. I waited about 4 months, and then CHM opened up the following January in 2020. I sold it to them, and Charles bought it, and that was it. So that's how I got started.
The viewers want to know who's that spicy Latin man on the television behind you?
Oh, we were watching Big Brother. That guy's name is Keanu. I think he's Polynesian.
Polynesian. TJ put it as
I forgot to turn the television off where I sat.
I was wondering, I was like, is that like a screensaver or something? Okay,
Nah.
I'm writing a really important poll. Nice.
Yes, Carson, CHM was my first sale.
Yeah, that's really awesome. Cosmic Horror Monthly is like a great place to start out, I think.
Yeah, they've published a lot of really good stuff. I have every issue. So,
I just started a poll here to find out if they think you are a boxer's wearer or a brief. So we'll
oh,
see what their guesses are in a moment.
oh God.
What drew you to horror originally?
Well, I was living with my biological father when I was like 4.5, 5 years old. I don't know how old I was, but I think I was five. And they were watching something in the living room, and I got up and snuck in to try to see what they were doing because I was curious about all the noises I was hearing. And they were watching
God,
The
imagine if
Exorcist.
it was like Carson was your dad and it was hardcore porn, you
Oh
know?
God, yeah, that would have been a very awkward situation, but
Yeah.
thankfully that wasn't the case. No, they were watching The Exorcist, and my biological father was in the army. He was a Green Beret, so he had this very like militant way of handling things. And so he decided that, okay, you want to be up and see what we're watching, you're going to watch it. So he made me watch not the whole movie, but enough of it that it scared the living shit out of me. Like
That's like such a boomer thing to do. Like, oh, I caught you smoking? Smoke a whole carton.
smoke a whole carton, exactly. So it scared the crap out of me. So I was at once fascinated by and also terrified of horror after that. I was intrigued by it, but like horror movies terrified me. I wouldn't go near them, but I would like rush to get the newspaper so I could see like the posters of the movies in the back where they were doing like the announcements for like the theater announcements. So, Nightmare on Elm Street 3, and I would like look at it and think about it. And when I was in grade school, I found an easy way to interact with this that wasn't quite so in my face, which was reading it. And I read this Alfred Hitchcock because I watched Alfred Hitchcock Presents, and I saw his name on some books in my library in my elementary school, and I there was like three of
In
them.
elementary school.
Yeah, and I read all three of them. They were like kiddie
Oh,
stories,
okay.
a little like a step up from like scary stories to tell in the dark or something. And then I ran through those really quickly, and I went to the librarian. I'm like, "Do you have anything else like this?" And she looked at the book and she said, "Yeah, come here." And their section where they were at on the other side, all the way at the top, she pulls down this collection from Helen Hoke, and she said, "Here." And it was not like this. We're talking, this was like adult, horror fiction like Edgar Allan Poe, H.P. Lovecraft, Robert Bloch, things like that. And it was really strange things like a guy who gets his head cut off, but he's still conscious and he can feel his head rolling down the stairs, and then this kid starts playing with it or things like that. It's really bizarre stuff. And I was just hooked after that. Like horror was my thing. And then in my teenage years, I got over the fright of the movies, so then I was really into it from there on, all in everything.
So, important update. We have the poll results back.
Hmm.
So four people voted that you are a boxers person. Three people voted briefs.
Hmm.
So can you confirm?
Neither.
Neither.
I
Speedo?
haven't worn
Thong?
I haven't worn underwear since I was 14.
I mean, TJ says that's why I didn't react. Nothing. Carson says, my man.
It's
Oh.
uncomfortable.
So TJ also mentioned regarding your movie story. I had a similar experience, but for me, it was Sleepless in Seattle. Also said Helen Hoke is actually a really cool chick, and I'd never heard of her prior to meeting Eric. Thea
Yeah,
says, you just casually reading Ligotti in kindergarten.
it, interestingly enough, I she died in 1990, and I think it was probably around the time I was discovering the books that because she was an editor at Franklin Watch. She was married to the guy that ran the press. And yeah, it just it was really weird because I would never had the opportunity to thank her in person at all because she died right around the same time. It sucks.
Yeah. Still really cool that she influenced you like
Oh,
that.
she was awesome.
I'll have to check her out. I don't think I've read anything by her either.
Yeah, I don't know if she wrote, but she definitely edited. Like I've got all of the horror books that she edited. Like there's like almost 30 of them, and
Okay.
I've got all of those. But she did other things like little Valentine books that were all aimed toward children.
Person says, wow, I don't support women authors. Okay, well, calm
No.
down. Car, calm down. TJ says, oh, quote from Helen Hoke, 1945. I look for books that will help young people to understand the time in which they live, the people with whom they have to live, and the world in which they live. Children are people and should be addressed as people. Arwen as turning to Plim, name a woman. Beyonce.
Name a
The
woman.
only woman in the world. Beyonce. Uh, or yeah, maybe. I don't know. I like Beyonce. Okay, so a lot of people have written in. Um, we need to know,
Hmm.
why is your voice so wonderful? Oh, I think your mom's waiting. Carla Starr. We have a
That's
mother
her.
joining chat. Everyone keep it PG. Okay.
Oh, she's cool. She doesn't care.
Okay. Hi, Mom. Welcome to the video.
She figured it out.
Yay. We love your son, absolutely. We'll try to keep things PG.
Yeah, she's fine.
So I just asked, and maybe this is due to you. Maybe this is you passing on beautiful genes to your child. But the listeners and the viewers want to know, why is Eric's reading voice and voice in general so wonderful?
I mean, I guess it's genetics. My grandfather, her father, he had a really deep voice. So, I
So
mean,
you got it from your mom.
I'm gonna go ahead and say that's what it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mom. We're here for it. TJ says, Eric rules. Thank you for having him. Absolutely. Just stating this wonderful being for like around 9 months. Doing a good job. Carson, I often play Eric's recording on a bass amp and sit on it. Okay. Okay. I shouldn't have read that one. Damn it. I thought you were saying something sweet, Carson.
He got you.
I know. It started out. Okay. Can you tell us a bit about your. Oh, what did I say? Oh, bass
Bass.
guitar. Um, Tell us a bit about your writing process and style. How do you come up with these wonderful tales of weirdness?
Um, I mean, the process is like just I write intermittently. I try to find a time in the day when I can when I'm not distracted because you see where my computer is. So this is where I
Yeah.
write. It's the
And you
middle
have
of the
kids too, and a
yeah,
cat
and my
that sometimes
wife,
appears. Yeah.
my
And your
my
wife.
and she works from home, so she's up and so try to find a time in the morning when there's nobody up. I mean, and then just sit down and write. Now the way I write is I usually put down 600 to 800 words in a session,
God damn.
and then I'll pick at them over the day. I'll go back and I'll edit it probably twice during the day, and then the next day I'll do it again before I start writing the next part. That's the process. As far as coming up with the ideas, I mean, you know how that is. They just come to you. You see something that inspires you. Like sometimes I pick what I want to do. Like with Jonah Wexley Abbott, I wanted to write the ultimate pastiche. I wanted the story to have all the cliches in
Don't
one
at me
story.
like that. That was like my favorite story,
No,
Eric.
I like it. I wanted to try to make it work, even with like I wanted to start it on a dark and stormy night, and that's what I did. I wanted there to be like a big dark manor. I wanted a butler and an old lady and a twist, and I wanted it to be I hate this friggin' word, but ep episto please say it.
Oh God.
Epistolary.
Epistatorial.
I hate that word. I can't say it. I can never
Found
say it.
footage.
Right.
TJ,
Yeah.
writing it out doesn't help. We could probably spell it.
Epistolic.
E
Yeah.
epistolary.
Yeah.
Epistolary.
There you go. So I wanted,
Epistolary. Epistolary.
there you go. Pistolary. So I wanted it to have that element. I wanted all the, a crazy doctor, Antarctica. So I put all that in there purposefully. Man who collected Ligotti, I wanted to write, that type. There was a story by Robert Bloch about the man who collected Poe in the style of Poe. And then there's like a minor literary tradition that popped up where people every once in a while write a story like that. They'll pick an author, and there's rules to it that have loosely been established. I went and I bought all the all of those I could find, and then I read them all, and then I decided how am I going to attack the story. So those are purposeful. I thought about most of the time I just come up with an idea, outline it, and then just sit down and write the sections of the outline every day until I'm done.
Um, Carson says one of my favorite things about Eric's work is how it's in conversation with the history of horror.
I try. I
Yeah.
Well, another thing I wanted to do is I wanted to try to make. I try to. I don't know if I achieved it, but I want each story to sound different. I don't want any of them to try to sound like samey. I don't want you to read the collection and go, "Oh, this sounds like this," and they might sound similar, but I was approaching them trying to make them sound unique.
Oh, your mom says she's so proud of you, and she's using the periods that you do as well. So you must have inherited it her from
That's
Carla.
how
Yeah.
it looks proper that way.
Yeah.
To me, that's polite.
But like imagine if it said so proud of your son and then an exclamation point, you know?
It's not good enough.
Carson says he is so cool, one of my favorite people and writers in the world. Does your mom know that your friends wrote an essay book about you because they love your writing and you so much?
I think she has. I think I gave her a copy of it. Carson
Nice.
sent me three. I gave her one.
Nice. Oh, I should have. You can actually, if you don't win the big bundle, you can actually still buy copies of these on Amazon.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So now let's talk about why we're here today to celebrate you, but also your collection, Straw World, out now. Um, Carson profits 2 cents per copy.
Making money off me.
Yeah, just hoeing you out, Eric. God
Mhm.
damn. So tell us a bit about Straw World and the stories within. You already kind of did in our previous question, but maybe like highlight other question or other stories and also just the making of.
Well, I didn't really approach like I just like this is gonna sound. I mean, basically everything I've ever had published is here. I think there's like one, two, maybe two stories that aren't included. So it wasn't, like I put the book together by saying, here's all the stuff I have, here we go. And then I had TJ make sense of it. But then I started like in the process of putting the book together, I've read through the book, twice now, and I was looking at the table of contents, and I realized, yeah, there's a lot. I mean, I didn't mean to be here, especially with the ordering of it, but that involves like being out of control. Um, and I think that goes back to like when I was a kid. I didn't feel like I had a lot of control over my life. Things early on in my life, their circumstances, things would happen to me that I couldn't control. And I think that's just something that bothers me. And so, like, I've always tried to exert some type of control over my life if I can. And then I realized that that's almost every story in here really deals with that type of loss of control. But broadly, I think it also has to do with the fact that none of us really have control of our lives. There are always outside forces and things that influence what happens to us that we don't have any say in. And that to me is scary. And that's why Ligotti is my favorite writer because he speaks directly to that. He says, okay, look, you don't have any control. There are things that are working against you. You're part of something that has nothing to do with you and you're a puppet. And I think that's mainly what's here is and I didn't plan it, but looking through there, I'm pretty happy that's there because it scares me.
Yeah, so for those who haven't gotten a copy yet or are waiting to see if they win one, it's divided into sections, thematic sections. Did you want to go into the background about those and how you decided to go with those sections?
I didn't. The first time I sent a TOC to TJ, it was I have a lot of flash fiction. I did a lot of that early on, and so I had structured it as like story, piece of flash fiction, story, and I did that. I did 10 stories,
Like a
10
nice
pieces of
sandwich.
exactly. Here's a amuse bouche between stories, and TJ's like, yeah, nah.
You're always
So
douching our muses.
yeah, So he didn't like that idea, and then he came up with a better one. He's like, why don't we, use Straw World as a because that wasn't the original title. We were still kicking around titles, and he's like, why don't we use that as a framing device, and then section each one, and then he put the stories in each section, and they matched thematically with that section of the story, and I'm like, wow, that works a lot better. I'm telling you, so much of this book, like he did, like I had very, a lot of credit goes to him when it comes to this book. I can't take. I wrote the stories, but he put together the TOC. He did the layout of the cover. He did the full wrap. He did a lot. So I give credit to him, and it just worked out that way. I'm happy it did. A happy accident that it could be put together in the way that he did.
He actually put in chat, putting this collection together with Eric was such a joy. It was always such an interesting conversation discovering the motifs and themes that eventually gave rise to the structure of the collection.
Yeah, that was all him.
Carson, maybe your biggest stan. That's so interesting to hear the genesis of the stories as loss of control. Such a great common fear, but for some reason I never put it together. Next Eric story I read, I'm going to be thinking about that. Then we have some comparisons. Michael said maybe like a story lasagne.
Yeah,
Lasagne.
a book lasagna. I like that.
Um, TJ says it's easy to make beautiful jewelry when somebody hands you gorgeous gems.
Oh, he's very
Oh,
sweet.
he's wooing you.
Yeah, he's a sweet.
And Christy says it's really important to have writers who acknowledge a character is not always in control. So much mainstream fiction is based on heroes slash bootstraps. Carson adds, in some ways, it feels a bit like resistance to acknowledge that we're at the whims of forces greater than us.
Oh, we are
Yeah.
absolutely. I mean, even the way. Just think about the weather. Like, people that get hit by a tornado, I'm sure they feel pretty helpless, and they had nothing that they could do to stop that. So, and there's so much that like Kafka understood that too. So, that there were just stuff you can't control, and that scares really does. My greatest fear is falling. So, and that's because there's nothing you can do to stop it. It isn't the dying or the pain at the end of it. It isn't the sudden stop. It's literally the falling that bothers me because there's no way out. You can't do anything to stop it. And that's what scares me.
Um, Carson had a comment. I'm just gonna let you read it. I'm not gonna read it out loud for your mom's sake. But so before we let everyone in, we actually had a really interesting discussion about the origin of your cover, which has like kind of its own origin story as well. So I
Mhm.
wanted to, do you mind repeating like how it kind of came together between like collaboration with like your daughter and your family, a cool artist, and then also let us know why are you so obsessed with eyeballs?
I'm actually this is interesting. I a little while back I was interested in reading stories. So I started a YouTube channel, and I was looking for branding for the YouTube channel. And there's this website called Pixabay where you can find free art. And I found a picture that had this really interesting moon that had like a bunch of like line. It was black and white, bunch of lines around it, and an eyeball in the middle. And I liked that image, so I used it because it was free. And then I liked it so much that I took it to my youngest child, who is an artist, and I said, "Can you make me something that's similar to this, but not the same? That keeps this
We love
aesthetic."
child labor. Yeah.
Absolutely, I didn't have to. I already paid them in food, so
Yeah. They're
and
like, I birthed you.
so they made this little eyeball that I love so much that I used it for branding for years after that on my social medias and things like that. It's in the book as well as for section breaks. And then I was like, I'd love to use this. And then I started thinking, well, yeah, because my whole thing is the void and how the void looks at you and is always watching. So I was like, okay, so eyeballs. That's it. That's where it came from. And then when I got to getting the art for the cover, I'd picked the artist like 4 years ago, fell in love with his art, Enoch Duncan. And I obsessed over. I was like, "Ah, this is the person. This is the person. I don't care how much it costs. This is the person." So, and when it came time, I approached him, and he's like, "Yeah, okay, I can do that." And I sent him, the branding thing my kid did, a piece of art of theirs, and like a mock-up I had done with another piece of art. And I said, just go nuts. This is what I want. And within 2 days, that cover came out. And I paid $100 for it, which is insane. Like it's so good, much worth much more than that. And TJ did the rest of it. So, but yeah, that's
Yeah.
what. It's not that I'm obsessed with eyeballs. It's just it fit with the motif, and it looked cool.
Yeah. Now, last question. What do you hope readers will take away from the collection?
No, first and foremost, I hope they're entertained. One of the problems that I have most as a reader, not as a writer necessarily, but as a reader, with contemporary horror fiction, weird fiction, is a lot of it is I'll walk away from it unsatisfied or unentertained. I might
You don't have
be,
to act Carson like that.
I
He's
might
in
be,
chat right now.
I might be intellectually stimulated by it, but I might walk away not feeling like I've been entertained. And I want people to walk away entertained. Now, I'm not sure every story will be entertaining for everyone, maybe not, but I want to tell a complete story that at the end you're like, oh, that was fun. Ultimately, that's it. But I'd like to like have people think about things too. I do talk. There's a lot of philosophy here, obviously. So that would be cool. But mostly, I want people to have fun with it and be entertained.
Perfect. Um, TJ is filling the chat with puns.
Of course, he
Um,
is.
yeah. Carson is calling the cops. So while the cops come, I'm going to, why did I say it like that? I'm going to post all your links again, and we're going to do the second giveaway, which is for the second copy of the collection. So everyone give eyeballs in chat, please. Yes, look at them eyes. Beautiful eyes. Okay. I thought you were gonna go on a commercial break. Can you imagine? By Colgate. Okay, hitting my wheel. Let's see. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, our very own Thea.
Yay!
Congrats, Thea
Yeah.
Maeve. Congrats on winning your eyeballs. Let me write down your name. See, I don't see Carson's using three periods in that. Do you see how like unenthusiastic that actually reads?
He's a gremlin.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Congrats, Thea.
It's emphatic.
All right. So now we have this is probably what everybody's been waiting for because everybody loves your voice. We get the live reading from the collection itself by the author himself, which is you, in case you didn't know.
Okay.
So have you decided, are you reading one story, two stories, sections, like a sentence of each story? Like,
I'm going to read one section of a story.
okay. Yeah, that's right. Carson wants the whole book all the way through.
Strap in.
And I do want to say, beautiful viewers, including the introduction, which is by
Carson
Carson
winner.
Winter. Yep, 24-hour stream. We're here for it. Well, after this, we'll do our last giveaway and then an audience Q&A. So if you have any feral questions that you want to ask Eric while we have him trapped on camera, now's the time to get those questions locked and loaded. All right. So will you let us know what you're reading?
Against my better judgment and advice from Carson Winter, I'm going to
Yeah,
read the last section of The Man Who Collected Ligotti.
he hates that. He hates when you don't start at the beginning. He hates when it's not
Mm,
complete.
he,
And God forbid you read from a section of a novel.
he wanted me to read an entire story, but I really want to read this part, so I'm gonna.
Okay.
Little setup. The story is structured in four parts. The first three parts are men, or actually people, who are being bedeviled by a man who is in various ways stalking them. And then this is the final end of the story. So, oh, hold on. It's called The Collector. You spoke to me, sir. and I have listened. The lessons you imparted have not been in vain, for I have taken your wisdom and transformed it into action. You uncovered the truth of it, that gnawing, brooding, laughing, terrible thing behind every other thing, and you brought that knowledge to the world. Try to educate these fools. And how did they reward your goodwill? They all but ignored you, but I did not. I could find but one flaw in your design, and that flaw is that you delivered your wisdom to them, hoping that they would use it. I wouldn't have thought you to be such an optimist. No, these troglodytes would never, could never do what needs to be done. They are caught up in the ruse, the trick, the conspiracy. They are lost in the dream. But I am awake. And when I am done with my work, my own special plan, I will bring the void to us. I was first and foremost a seller and keeper of books, a collector, purveyor of things mysterious and esoteric, and it was during the course of this purveyance that I stumbled upon your work. Outside of this vocation, I was also a hobbyist, a fellow writer, in fact, and it was this hobby that allowed me to understand the true nature of a writer. We, if you'll forgive the vulgar comparison of you and I, are conduits, prisms through which other, more strange truths and realities are projected. Only through us and those like us can certain things take shape in the world of humanity. Religions and the sciences, those idiocies that can only hope to do what we do, could never comprehend the truth or value of that which is our providence. We purposefully do what they do only by accident. We make the unreal real. Not that I have to tell you that, of course, but it is important for me to, it is important for me that you know that I know it, so that you'll see that I am in full possession of the facts, that I am not doing what I'm doing out of anything other than complete knowledge and understanding. Esoterica, by its very nature, begets all manner of odd illumination, so you can imagine that beyond the realms of academic and artistic literature lie whole continents of fantastic and even supernatural discourse, representing themselves not as fiction, but as actual fact. And in my efforts to aggregate the various knowledges I have spent so many of my years meticulously gathering, I became frustrated, for there seemed no way for me to join it together into anything that could come close to sense. I could feel the truth in my bones, could see the puzzle depicting it laid out in pieces before me, but could not conceive of how to arrange them. I am not too proud to admit that in the end I reached the edge of complete madness trying to find that unifying thing that would make it all coagulate. And then your work arrived on my doorstep and pulled me back from the brink. I became obsessed with it from my very first foray. I could see your vision immediately, and with each new tale I would dash back and forth between the shelves of my shop, corroborating and validating that which you so clearly defined. It was as if you had put a key into the locked door that had been keeping my enlightenment at bay, and when the inky truth came flooding out, I was overtaken by the mania that followed. I instructed every contact I'd accrued during my time as a bookkeeper to find and to deliver to me anything you'd ever written. If this man's name is on it, I want it, was the directive, and within a month I had it all in my possession. I consumed it ravenously, my head not touching a pillow for days, until every word was transferred from the pages into my head. Next, I made a great collage across the back wall in my back room, blasphemously tearing out pages and affixing them to it, pairing them with other pages from other books that validated their philosophies and assertions. My basic needs were ignored nearly outright. That I was required to leave the room to relieve myself became the height of annoyance, and if my idiotic vanity had not prevented it, I may have done so right there, if only to not waste a single precious moment in the pursuit of that which I could sense was just out of reach. Then it was finished. Standing before it, I trembled, and as it slowly imparted upon me its great revelation, I collapsed into a ball of exultation and exhaustion. With your help, I had completed that which I had been pursuing unknowingly my entire life, a fully formulated and perfect plan. It was so simple. All I needed to do was what you had done so many times, what all writers do. I needed to conjure that which was unreal, bring it to life, and then do what I do best: collect it. You see, the very essence of that which you dub the solal, and what I refer to simply as the void, as you well know, stands behind and is incorporated into everything you've ever written. You saw past the illusion and stared into its eye. You beheld its shadow, and then cast that shadow upon each and every one of the little mirrors of yourself you created and called characters, imbuing them with a piece of that essence. Unfortunately, there was no way for me to collect that essence from those little yous, as they are too far removed from myself and my own creative vision to be of use. But there was another way. I realized that all I needed to do was create my own tiny toms, ones I felt most strongly represented you. Much as you did, I would cast upon them the shadow of truth, and then, through various alchemical and arcane practices gleaned from my collection, force them out of the world of the unreal and into the world of the real, to suffer in the ways in which you have suffered. And once that suffering hardened them into diamond-like prisms, I would find and collect these tulpas in turn: the performer, the paranoiac, and the dreamer, drawing from them that essence and distilling it into a singular form made up only of it. Sadly, they were not enough. These homunculi were insufficient on their own. My talent and imagination proved inadequate. The thing I made from them was half-formed, embryonic, slithering in the pool in which I keep it, moaning and babbling incoherence, incapable of what I needed it to do. It required something more. I puzzled over this for some time. How could I extract that which I needed if I could not use your characters or my own? Truly a frustrating conundrum. Then, one night, while stroking my malformed avatar as it warbled, I found myself engaging a book of interviews you'd given, hoping to glean some heretofore unrealized answer from your wisdom. And then, between the coos and gurgles of my creation, it came to me. I realized that I needed to collect a different sort of distillation. It occurred to me that not only do your characters carry the required essence, but also the readers and acolytes of the work you created by showing their struggles to the world. I was but one prism through which your vision was refracted. Your influence, niche though it may be, has created so many more prisms, equal to or even greater than my own. So I went about collecting the most afflicted of your followers: the monk, the musician, the German, the academic, the journalist, and finally, the puppeteer. I drained them, one by one, of you, fed their distillate to my mewling abomination. It was nearly enough. As you can plainly see, it is now almost fully formed, glutted on their contributions, but yet, still, incomplete. There is but one thing left to do. None of them could reach the required purity. The essences I gleaned from them were too cloudy, too infected with the lie. To bring about the end of all this nonsense, my phylactery requires a refinement that can only be found in a singular person. And now, here we are. It was the puppeteer who led me to you, but do not blame him. He did not do so willingly. I tore the information from him before taking the rest of what I needed. He begged me to spare you. I couldn't make him understand. As I did with him, I've tried tonight to make you see what's necessary to accept it. This is the only way. You must believe me. Search your feelings. You know it to be true. For my work to be done, for my special plan to be enacted, I must fit this final piece. Look down there, into that pool at your feet, at that thing that has started to resemble you. Behold the labyrinthine blackness swarming behind its eyes, ready to burst out and consume us all. Be honest, don't you find it beautiful? I suppose it doesn't matter. I won't lie. It will hurt. It must. For what it's worth, I am genuinely sorry you will never get to see the thing our creation brings about when it finally howls its summoning and pulls your slaw, my void, screaming into the world. Don't you worry, though. I will greet it for the both of us. Are you ready? No? Let's begin anyway. Welcome, dear Tom, to the end. And that's it.
Hell yeah. So, mostly everyone was gushing about how you need to make an audiobook.
Yeah.
Um, Voice like syrup. They want to know when your audiobook era is going to happen. Carson, of course, standing hard, loves the voice in the story, so sinister. I didn't mean to S it so hard like that. I swear I just lisped. It's not deliberate. He also encourages everyone to listen to you reading while on a bass amp.
Oh my God, with the bass amp, Carson.
Yeah. Also, he says there's a lengthy serpentine quality to the sentences that feel like you're being guided through a labyrinth. TJ's back to jail for the puns. Betta says, feels like someone leading you through a hedge maze that keeps changing, and the person's convincing you with each turn that it's fine, don't worry about it. Carson says, I feel like if I were to smoke a bowl, close my eyes, and listen to Eric's work, I'd straight up have a panic attack. Commenting that the spicy Polynesian in the background is also still enraptured. Um, TJ says he needs to go clean up.
No, of course.
Francis says, it was nice hearing about your day, but are you going to read the segment now? I tease, you're a fantastic writer and reader. I absolutely adore all your work. Tons of claps, some hostile thumbs up, you know. Sam Logan says, like silky velvet.
Well, thank you guys.
So if given an opportunity, would you record an audiobook
I
version of
would.
this?
I absolutely would. I just the problem is I don't have any way to record. I this is where I can record. I don't have any spaces in my house that would have the necessary dampening that would
Yeah.
meet the requirements for audiobook recording. I'd love to do it.
Undertaker, you know what you have to do. Fund access to a studio. That easy. It's that easy.
That would cost a lot of money.
Yeah. Thanks, Undertaker Books. Uh, Bettis says you can borrow my office. And Carson says we need to GoFundMe Eric a pro setup so we can all make him do our books. Actually, yeah. Are you willing to do Sisters of the Crimson Vine?
Sure.
All right, we're gonna do our final giveaway, and now this is for the big bundle. So it's a signed copy of the collection Star World, also a signed copy of Odd Jobs, which is corporate horror. Highly recommend checking that out if you don't win this copy. It has a couple of the other authors here, like Christy and Carson. TJ, of course, edited it. Christy did the cover as well.
You sure did.
Um, Also, the book of essays that the fans of Eric put together, which includes TJ and Carson, who organized it, as well as my feral art. That it was those three, right? Am I missing one?
Uh, oh, on the essays?
The three in the bundle, right? Those were the three
Yes, those are
books.
the three, and I'll
Okay.
sign them all. So
Yay, I remembered. Oh, yeah, Patrick Barb and Richard Snowden links also in it as well.
yes.
Yeah, TJ says reading of the sisters was absolutely rules, so you have been seconded in. Thank you. All right, so everyone hit me with your eyeballs as I do this last giveaway. And think of any questions you want to ask Eric. Beep, 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 beep. And our last winner, the winner of the bundle, Beta Adkins. Beta Adkins, like the beta fish? Is that a family member? Should they not win? You're laughing.
Yeah, that's my daughter's sister. She
Oh,
she lives next door.
oh. Well, she says she wants it.
Okay.
Yeah. See, yeah, easy shipping. Just walk it over. Congratulations, Bella. See, I never know whose family, so sometimes, like, I usually know the publisher, so I take them out of the pool. Yeah. Yeah, it comes with a personal visit from the author, so make sure you take a photo, post it to social media. Okay. Well, I'm not going to write down her name, Eric, because you can just hand her her stuff.
Know how to get in touch with her.
Yeah. Oh, well, congrats, Betta. I did not know you were related. But yeah, so now it's time to question Eric. I'm gonna start. Eric, what are you working on right now?
I am Carson challenged us. There's a call for folk horror coming up, and
I
I've
know
been
he called me trash. He was like,
uh,
you piece of garbage, Plum, right?
and so I'm going to be starting on that sometime this weekend, and then next is probably either going to be a novella or a novel. I'm not sure which.
Nice. Carson says, as someone who has worked with TJ before, I know that putting together a collection leads to some surprising outcomes, especially when it comes to story inclusion. What story in your collection were you most unsure of including?
Little Dirt Boy.
Why is that?
It's not my favorite. It seems to be a favorite of a lot of people, but for me, it's right, exactly.
Yeah,
People are
everyone's like,
listening.
I love that one.
Right. And for me, I don't think it's a bad story. It's just
Yeah.
I've never been like I like that story, but it's the one I return to the least. And trust me, I return to my stuff a lot. So um I don't know. I didn't know if it fit thematically, if it fit within but it does. I think I think it belongs there now. But early on, I wasn't sure about it.
Yeah, it looks like you had a conversation with Bibitage about it. Francis says, but that ending line slaps so hard. Yeah, everybody
Yeah,
loves the little dirt boy.
yeah. It
You
seems
made
to be a
Emma
favorite.
cry.
Oh,
Emma, that's what you get for killing those snails. Don't think we've forgotten.
Of course, Emma likes that one.
Francis asks, is there a story that you've wanted to write but couldn't figure out how to do it yet?
Oh, thank you for that question. Yes. There's a
Ooh.
story I came up with a long time ago that's still percolating in the back of my head, but I have not figured out a way to approach it that would be authentic. It's about a woman who has a condition where she lactates constantly. So she is a wet nurse. And she specializes in odd and strange situations. Like there was a prize goat that gave birth, and the person and it died, and so they wanted to nurse, so she was hired. Or so there was I had some other circumstances, and so she always takes these odd jobs doing this job, and she takes a job with these people, these kind of culty people, and they start there, and there's like a woman upstairs screaming constantly, and they keep bringing her these monster babies to feed, and they die within a couple of days. They won't take the breast, and it's like this woman upstairs is constantly giving birth to these monster babies, and then eventually like they bring her a baby that's perfect with these like devil eyes or whatever, and it latches on, and that's like the end of the story. And I can't find my way around that one. And I to me it seems like it's a cool story, but I'm a guy. I don't have any experience with this stuff. I don't know if it would even be
You mean you've
appropriate for
never
me to.
lactated before, Eric?
Right, exactly. So I wouldn't know. I'm afraid to write that story, but I love the idea of it. I've never given up on it. I'm going to figure out my way around it one day.
Um, TJ says thematically, Little Dirt Boy is very similar to an Angel of God from Emma's own collection, The Drowning Machine, and Other Obsessions. Not that I have any stake in recommending people read it or anything.
They should. It's an excellent collection.
Betta says, and I hope I'm saying your name right. Um,
It
is
is, yes.
it Betta?
Yes.
Okay. This collection has clearly been a long time in the making and has a lot of love and dedication carved into it. What advice or notes would you give to other authors or hopeful authors who haven't yet gotten to the same point in their lives or careers?
I mean, generically, I would say keep at it, but I will say that the one thing that helped me the most was finding a community. Finding Discord, which I'd never heard of before. When I did the first year of writing, I was by myself. I was just giving my stories to people I knew, who not all of them are writers. Most of them aren't writers. So I didn't have a community. I didn't know what I was doing, and I didn't have anybody to bounce ideas off of or to read my work. Find a community. Find writers that are ahead of you. Find writers that are in the same place as you, and that's going to be the biggest piece of that's what helped me the most and continues to help me the most is to have this like solid community of writers and friends that I can go to and ask advice and send stories to and get, feedback. And that would be what I would say.
Um, Carson says, "When are you gonna give us a novel, bruh?"
I think next I'm thinking either novella or novel, but I think we're gonna just go ahead and jump into the novel.
Carson will help you with it. He'll
Hmm.
guide you. He's the sensei.
Yeah, he has like
Um,
six in the back or something.
yeah, I thought it was like 10 or 12 or something, honestly, at
It,
this
it,
point.
it
Yeah.
might be at this point,
Yeah. He can also recommend good amps. Yeah.
yeah.
So for advice on writing your baby story, we have some suggestions here.
Hmm.
Carson says take weird meds. Francis says it does sound good and horrifying. And Thea probably has the most practical advice. Go on some HRT, take the right meds, and you'll begin to lactate. And then you've got that experience, you know?
I'll get right on it.
Yeah. See, there's solutions for everything. So we're a little over time. So I just wanted to share the links again. Francis says for real though, maybe just get sensitivity readers.
Yeah.
Um, So if you haven't won today and you want a copy, be sure to order it from Undertaker Books as a paperback because then you'll also get a free ebook, which is lovely. It's like a cool freebie. And these are all of Eric's links, so it's in the description below if you're watching the YouTube video as well. So be for sure give him a follow because if he does write that lactating baby whatever story. Wait, no, the baby's not lactating.
Lactating baby.
The baby's not lactating.
I'm not
The
writing that.
the forever mom lactating.
It's gonna be Carson's next novel.
I
Lactating
didn't
baby.
mean it like that. But if you want to keep track of what Eric's coming out with next, if you're following him on social media, then you can be sure to catch when that release date is gonna be, or if he starts doing audiobooks. I'm sorry for that mix
I
up.
love it. Don't apologize. That's
Lactating babe.
that's that's a new meme in our chat.
Oh no. TJ's like, it will be an epic series, The Milky Ways. Thea says we should write a double feature. Oh God.
Milk and oh honey, Jesus.
Oh, yeah, but thank you for joining us on this Friday night. It's been lots of
Thanks,
fun.
guys. Yes,
If
absolutely. I
if
appreciate
you're
it so much.
watching, yeah, if you're watching the YouTube video, go in the description below. That's where all of Eric's links are, including where to buy the book from the Undertaker website. And yeah, Eric, congrats.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks, everybody.
I swear everyone showed up for, of course, your voice alone. That was like all of my advertising was like, if you
I
haven't heard Eric's
saw
voice
that.
yet, like, loser. And then hopefully maybe we can get some crowdfunding or Undertaker might get a grant or something and we can get you into doing an audiobook for this because you are
That would
amazing at reading.
that would be awesome. I would love
Yeah.
that.
Undertaker looking at you. You can see the demand. I'm not going to read Carson's last comments. Just know that he is completely supportive of your voice and your writing in the most respectful way possible. Cyan from Undertaker says we are
Finalizing
finalizing
the
the loans
loans.
now. Yes, invest in this future star.
Or to be a big seller. Thanks, Mom.
Yeah, congratulations, son, period. Yeah.
I I agree with her. I'll fight everybody.
Yeah. Well, until next time, again, congrats, Eric. I know there was
Thank
so
you.
much hype going into this because we all love your writing.
Oh, I
Yeah,
appreciate that.
and it's so cool. And yeah, we love you, Eric.
Oh, I love you guys too.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.